going to do a quick AI jobs rapid fire, right? Will it replace us or augment us?
It's a really important question. In fact, this is often the question that most governments and most parents want to know.
So we can't do rapid fire on it.
So okay. let me try to very quickly, just through a simple example. Radiologists, right? So radiologists do a number of things, but a lot of it involves looking at X-rays, MRI images, and so on, and then they pass on the analysis of that to the attending physician, who has to figure out what to do, and people often have this augmenting idea. Well, it's going to automate the more routine parts of the job, the simpler images and diagnoses and treatment situations, giving the radiologist more time to relate to the patient emotionally, and so on and so forth. But the brute fact is that people are not going to break their legs in more interesting ways just to keep radiologists employed. The total demand for radiology is fixed by how frequently people break their legs and so on, if radiologists become 3 times as efficient, probably we will see a reduction in the number of radiologists employed. So it has to do with this very nerdy economics thing of the elasticity of demand. Mm-hmm. So as you become more efficient in meeting demand, 2 different things could happen, right? Either the demand is inelastic, as it is for broken legs, and you end up with fewer people meeting that demand, or as happened with cars when they went from being hand-built to being factory-built, the demand explodes. As the price comes down, now instead of just the aristocracy affording cars, everyone can afford a car, and demand explodes, and the number of people employed goes up. So you have this very confusing situation where improving efficiency could either reduce the number of people working or increase the number of people working. And you have to understand the demand and the industry to figure out the answer to that question. And what that suggests is, if you don't want to create widespread employment, focus AI on areas of unmet need, such as the need for individual tutoring for children, which is unmet in every country, to be honest, or graffiti removal, which is too expensive for us to do with human beings in most cities, or inspecting cargoes for contraband or explosives or radioactive material or whatever, which is too expensive to do with humans. So there are things we could do that would increase employment rather than decrease employment. Eventually, if we create the kind of general purpose intelligence that people are talking about, it will be able to do almost everything that humans get paid to do. And the people paying those humans would probably end up choosing the AI system to do it. And this is something that even Aristotle talked about 2,500 years ago. Yes. What will people do?
The purpose of life.
Right? And it's hard to get a very encouraging picture. If you've seen the film Wall-E, that's a world where AI systems do everything, and as a result, humans are infantilized. They don't learn to do anything because they don't need to, but that creates dependence and enfeeblement, which is hardly the future we want for our civilization.
Lauren, do you want to come into that?
Yeah, I think I will not disagree with anything that Stuart has said, and I think that
it's a good place to be.
No. But I do think. I think there are, there's a great question as to whether or not governments can and private industry will focus AI development on the places where there's unmet need. That would be great if we could all get behind and do that. That's not going to happen. And so you will see jobs impacted. I think the broader question is to what extent are governments preparing for that? To what extent are universities preparing for that? To what extent are we collectively as society preparing to adjust to that reality? Jobs go away. There are no more elevator operators. There are no more people, doing the switchboards on telephones. Those were disruptive at the time. How do we solve that when the scale is much larger? And what are we doing around social safety nets to make sure that reskilling and new skilling and lifelong learning and all of those things are actually in place and are utilized rather than just throwing our hands up in the air and saying, well, gosh, we didn't see that coming, and it's too bad we're all enfeebled now, and good luck. You know, I mean, that's the wrong answer. And so I do think that, I mean, it gets back to an earlier theme. There's enough discussion about the benefits and the risks that people feel a sense of urgency. Whether or not we are effective in meeting that urgency is an open question, but at least there is a sense of urgency, which at many times in the past we have not felt.